Everyone, and welcome back to my channel, and welcome to the third and final part of the Throne of Glass reading vlog. In this video, we're going to be doing the tandem read of Empire of Storms and Tower of Dawn, and then reading the final book, Kingdom of Ash. As you would have seen, I have already started the tandem read, so I thought I'd just talk about where I'm up to now. Obviously, again, just need to reiterate, these are spoiler vlogs, so if you haven't read the series and you want to, don't watch these videos. So I am up to chapter 11 of Empire of Storms and then chapter 7 of Tower of Dawn. I will say I think everyone kind of has a similar opinion that Empire of Storms is a bit more interesting than Tower of Dawn, and I can definitely see it going that way. Tower of Dawn is following Chaol and Nezrin, but Chaol is a bit of a I don't want to say boring because that's a bit mean, but he's a bit of a boring character, and just following him hasn't been too fun yet, but I will get to that in a second. So I think we started with Empire of Storms. I have definitely been liking this, but what I will say is that the good parts of Tower of Dawn so far I feel like have been better. I will say that overall I definitely am still preferring Empire of Storms just because it's following more of the characters that we all love. It's just a bit more fast paced for sure, because there's a lot of different point of views and settings, whereas in Tower of Dawn we've basically just had the one setting. I will say the tandem read has been really good so far, just in terms of it's really picked up in the right places. Like, obviously it's been planned that way. Okay guys, apologies, I had to change my location. As I was saying, Empire of Storm, I've been really liking it because we've had all the characters we know. It's been quite like fast paced in terms of going between different characters' point of view. I've really enjoyed Lorcan and Elid's story. Really interested in that because I'm kind of getting a vibe between them two. I don't know, but yeah, I'm liking that one. I'm very intrigued to see like if Elid's gonna make it, if it will work out for her if she makes it, and like what will become of her, because she's definitely one of those characters where we might not have seen her full potential. So yeah, I have been definitely enjoying it, and this one feels a lot more like the rest of the series and Queen of Shadows in particular, whereas I would say Tower of Dawn definitely feels like its own book. Obviously we're in a completely different continent following Chaol, as I said. I have been liking it. I will say that I've never really been interested in Chaol and Nezrin's romance. I don't really see it, to be honest, and they keep kind of bringing it up and I'm over it, to be honest. So I feel like there's not much keeping me interested in this story other than Irene. The bit that I left off at was Nezrin being shown out of the like castle grounds by Sartak. I'm excited for that because I do like Nezrin as a character. I just feel like her and Chaol aren't really very well matched, and I could see this being a good match. I am going on holiday. I think I mentioned it a couple of times, for 2 weeks at the end of September. I've started reading these at the beginning of September. I'm hoping to finish these by then. I think I have 2 more weeks, so fingers crossed. But as I said, I have actually been really enjoying it, and I feel like the tandem read is also really making me want to push on, because I also have kind of set myself a goal to always finish on Tower of Dawn. So however many chapters I need to read of Empire of Storm, I then need to read the chapters of Tower of Dawn, and then I can stop there. So that's kind of been my goal, and it's kind of kept me going. I'm going to maybe read a bit more today. I have got other things to do, so we will see. I just read chapters 17 and 18 of Empire of Storms, and those are from Manon's point of view, and it is when she's meant to execute Asterin. When they said that earlier in the book, I was like, no, like I don't want that to happen to Asterin. I feel like Asterin has been a bit more likable to me. I guess I kind of always assumed what did end up happening would happen, but I was so shocked, as you guys saw. I wasn't expecting it because of the consequences of her actions, but I'm not surprised at all. I really wish we saw Astrid's point of view, or just more of her. I have also been really enjoying Tower of Dawn. We've had the like first kind of little action, kind of bit more scarier moment in this book when Irene is in the library and she gets followed and they think that one of the healers has died due to the Valk. So it's definitely getting more interesting. I'm starting to like Kale a little bit. Obviously, I'm definitely not a Kale hater. I can feel some like sort of compassion for him, and I do feel a bit just bad for him. His relationships since like Throne of Glass and Crown of Midnight have been very like unbelievable and a bit surface level to me, and I don't know if that's on purpose, but yeah, I'm just not loving it. I feel like I can obviously see some potential going on with him and Irene. I am now on to the Tower of Dawn chapters again. I have a plan to read quite a few chapters tonight, so hopefully we'll get to it. As I said, I really want to finish these books before I go on holidays. Honestly kind of surprised at how much I'm enjoying them, just because I did really enjoy Queen of Shadows, but I do feel like Heir of Fire was a bit slow for me because I've obviously had a break over the summer. I kind of thought I wouldn't be as into these books as I am. I don't really feel like there's too much to say on my thoughts other than that I'm really enjoying it, and I'm really happy that I'm enjoying it so much because everyone always talks about how much they love Throne of Glass, and I have been really enjoying it, but I wouldn't say that I love this series in the way that I love ACOTAR so far. At the moment, I don't really feel like I could say one of them is better than the other or one of them I'm liking more. I feel like they're pretty equal. As I said, I have been really enjoying Tower of Dawn, and I think I probably did have some low expectations for that one. And I feel like with Tower of Dawn, I'm liking it because we're in a completely new setting, and the like royal family that we're seeing is very different to anything that we've seen before. I still feel like I'm not too connected to Nesrin as a character, but I do like her story and how her story has led her here, and she obviously has these family ties to Antica, so I'm really liking that aspect of it. I just feel like I'm still not fully connected to her character. A point that we finished off at was her leaving a note for Kale saying that she's gonna go with Sartak and she won't be back for a while, and like she's basically given him the option to do whatever he wants because they're not really in a relationship, but they kind of are. She's basically said to Kale, you do whatever you want, I'm doing whatever I want. We'll see what happens with that. Hozar, not really vibing with her, to be honest. She just has kind of bad vibes. There was actually a moment quite a while ago from where I've got up to now. It was after Irene has that like kind of encounter with someone in the library. She says something like, oh, if I catch them, I'll behead them. And she's not meant to know about the Valk, or if she does, she hasn't told anyone. So after as well, Irene's like, little does she know, like, you do need to behead them to kill them. I feel like Hazar definitely knows more than she's letting on. And also she just feels like a bit of a fake friend to Irene, to be honest. I'm just not really loving her character very much. I have been liking Irene and Kale. I feel like they're a good match just because they both still have those like human qualities to them that a lot of the other characters don't have, and that's something that obviously Kale values very much. And then for Empire of Storm, we are now at the point where literally the chapter I finished on, Aelin turns up in Rolf's office. I love that because I was really excited, honestly, to go back to the islands because I quite liked, obviously I loved Assassin's Blade, and I quite liked Rolf's character, so I was very intrigued to see how that would end up, and I just found that scene so funny. I did tab it because it was really funny. I've been really liking it. We've obviously been introduced to Fenris and Gavriel. I wouldn't say I'm like obsessed with either of them at the moment. I think Fenris is a very well loved character, so I'll have to see where that goes, but they've been alright. I'm excited for the whole Adian and Gavriel thing to happen, but honestly other than that, I feel like maybe that storyline is the most uninteresting so far. I have really liked Elide and Lorcan's storyline and watching that, and I really liked the little scene where they like pretend to be married. That was really good, and I'm very excited to see how that develops. I'm honestly just going to keep reading. I feel like that's everything I want to say. I mostly just wanted to say that I'm so suspicious of Hazar, but we'll see how it goes. see, I am actually in Rhode Island at the moment on my USA trip, and I thought I could quickly give an update because I have finished Empire of Storms. I did not finish the books as I had hoped on the plane. Didn't happen. I don't know what it is about planes, but they just like drain the energy out of me. I'm just exhausted. So I read one chapter on the plane and then I finished Empire of Storms, gave it 5 stars, really enjoyed it, and I feel like it was everything I loved about the first books, but with the characters from like the newer characters. But like it felt more wholesome. That's my update. I'm going to finish Tower of Dawn hopefully today because we're driving up to Boston today, but we'll see. Anyway, that was just my little update. I'll probably do a proper full wrap up once I'm home. I found the ending quite interesting. Like, I liked that it kind of picked back up and we got a bit of action at the end, but it definitely wasn't what I was expecting in terms of who was taken over by the Valg. I feel like it makes sense because you don't really see any of Duva, I think was her name. You don't really see her in the book, so I guess it makes sense that she was the Valg. I gave Tower of Dawn a 4-star in the end because I did really enjoy it, and the parts that I enjoyed, I did really like. I just feel like there's a lot of it that was a bit uninteresting to me, and I think that's kind of the general consensus, to be honest, about this book. I wouldn't say it was boring, but it kind of was boring. Like, it wasn't boring in what it was telling you, I just didn't care. As for Empire of Storm, I would say that I obviously liked the familiarity, I liked the settings a lot more in this book. I also liked obviously there was a lot more point of views in this book. I found Empire of Storm overall much better and more like intriguing, I guess. I liked the additional characters in this one. There wasn't as many like moments that really stand out to me about that book. I obviously really liked the moments with Aelin and Rowan. They were really cute. I really liked the moments with Elide and Lorcan. I definitely found Elide and Lorcan's story the most interesting up until they like joined everyone. I did like the reunion with Aedion, Aelin and Elide, but I feel like afterwards it kind of just like fell off, and I definitely feel like Manon has more of like an affection to Elide than it seems that Aedion and Aelin do. Honestly, there's not much more to say. I just really like that book and I gave it 5 stars, which might be a bit much. I don't know. Maybe it should be 4.75 because it didn't give me the emotional feelings that Assassin's Blade did, but I feel like it was definitely the best book since Assassin's Blade for me, especially just with everything that happens. Obviously the ending is crazy, we'll have to see what happens with Aelin. And the only other thing I want to say before I head off and catch you guys back up in November is The Life of a Shona Girl just came out yesterday and I went and saw it in the cinema today, and I've seen people posting about this and I have to talk about it because you guys know I love Sam. Everyone's saying how Ruin the Friendship, which by the way, loved that when I first heard it. It was one of the only ones I was like, yes, this is a good song. Ruin the Friendship is kind of Selena and Sam's song, which is so cute but also so sad. And then I also saw Father Figure, which is also another one that is very much growing on me and I think might be in my top 3 even, but it relates to Selena and Arabin so much. Like, I feel like that one is undeniable. Like, that is so their relationship. So I just love that. I will see you guys back in November when I start Kingdom of Ash, but I am very happy with how much I enjoyed the tandem read. Okay guys, so I thought I could talk about Kingdom of Ash because I am now on my 3rd day of reading it and I am up to page, I think it's 111. Honestly, feel like I'm kind of liking it more than Empire of Storm and Tower of Dawn when I first started the books, because this one very much has just gone straight into the action. We had the chapter where Fenris saw his brother again, and honestly the little scene after that did actually make me a little bit emotional, so I did like that. I have also been liking the Dorian and the Witches chapters. I feel like those have always been ones that have stuck out to me, to be honest, but I have definitely been liking those. And also surprisingly Kale, just because obviously they have no idea what's going on, so they're trying to figure out what they need to do. We've just had the chapter where they have realised they need to go to Aniel, I think is how you say it, which is where Kale is from, and they have to try and save it, which honestly, I'm kind of excited to see how that goes. And also, obviously, Kale is still thinking about Dorian. I thought I was going to love Aedion. I have been loving Aedion, but he's not very likeable in this book. Obviously, that's like war and like battle. That's going to bring out a bad side of anyone. so I'm trying not to like think too deeply into it. But yeah, I'm just not really enjoying that one as much. And I also feel like because there's so many extra characters in that like timeline, it's kind of hard to follow. Like I think I only really remember Ren as like a character, and then Darrow a little bit. I will also say we did see Nox, which was really exciting because I really hoped that he would come back into the book. I think he was in Throne of Glass, and then that was the end of his storyline because obviously he escaped. And hopefully he like figures it out, because I don't think at the moment he knows that. Oh no, he must know. I don't know. I'm intrigued to see, because he's acting like he doesn't know that Selena and Aelin are the same person, because obviously he knew Selena. But then doesn't Darrow know that Selena and Aelin are the same person? But I guess maybe Darrow didn't tell him. I don't know. Very intrigued by that point. So yeah, just gonna keep reading. Okay guys, so I definitely need to update you on Kingdom of Ash, because I have honestly been flying through. I'm up to page 576. I've also been reading it physically, which somehow I haven't really cracked the spine, which I'm very impressed by myself. My least favourite storyline so far has been Adi and Lysandra, but they're like they're just doing war, like they're just fighting. I wasn't really loving like the whole Rowan, Lorcan, Gabriel and Alid finding Aelin. Obviously the moment they did find her was amazing, but the whole like getting there I wasn't that interested in. I honestly don't know when I last updated you, so we're obviously now at the point where Aelin's back with Rowan. Alid and Lorcan have just confessed their love for each other, which I've loved. It's obviously the like trope where like he's like dying and then he says it and then everything's better. Like that's such a cliche trope, but it is so good. We know Irene's pregnant, which is fun. I don't really have many thoughts on that storyline, but I will say definitely have felt kind of like, why does everyone hate Kale? Like I know that I've kind of had mixed thoughts on him throughout the series, but I've never been like a Kale hater. I've never been a Kale lover. But like he's just normal. I get that he's a bit boring, but like there really isn't anything wrong with him, and I feel like him and Aelin are very like mature at the moment. Maybe it changes, I don't know. But at this point they're really mature, and I just don't really understand why everyone hates on him. I know that he's done some bad stuff, but so many characters in the series have done bad stuff, so I do feel like the hate is a little bit unnecessary. Rolf has just come with his like crew to save them a little bit, so that was cool. But now the witches are going to join them. I really like that storyline with Manon becoming like the Queen of the Witches, I think they called her. That's a really fun storyline. I'm really liking that. We actually just had the scene where she offers to marry Dorian. I do understand, but at the same time it's like I really don't think the Manon, I know that she's grown, but I don't think the Manon of a couple books ago would even consider that. And obviously Dorian knows that, and that's why he doesn't agree to it. And that's why I love Dorian, because he just is so perceptive. I do know that Gabriel dies. I'm pretty sure I know that Asterin dies as well. But those are the only two. Thursday today. I'm definitely going to finish this by Sunday. I would say at this point I'm most looking forward to seeing what happens with Alid and Lorcan. Obviously now that they've like admitted that they love each other. Obviously very interested to see what happens with Aelin, Maeve and Erewhon. And then the other thing is obviously Dorian and what ends up happening with Dorian, because Dorian is my fave. It's Friday morning and I did get a decent chunk through yesterday, so I'm now up to page 680. The main thing I wanted to speak about was obviously Dorian and how he kind of like deceived Maeve a little bit. That whole thing was kind of stressed me out a little bit, because I just didn't see how Maeve would fall for it. I just thought it was gonna go so wrong, and it doesn't seem to have gone wrong. Like it seems too easy, so I don't know if something's actually gone wrong, especially with the word stones, because, or the word keys, whatever they're called, because I'm pretty sure the last chapter just finishes with like Dorian picking them up and like all's good and he's got all three. Obviously now it's kind of hinting towards maybe Irene is going to heal Erewhon, which is interesting, but then there's also an element to Maeve. Sorry, I'm like bending over here, but there's an element to Maeve where she's like, she doesn't seem so vague. I don't know if it's all just deception, but she does seem to not want to be involved with Erewhon and his brothers. I'll try and update you before I finish it, but I will definitely try and film my reactions because everyone says they cry loads in this book and I haven't cried. The only one I've cried to is Assassin's Blade. Okay guys, so unfortunately my final clip where I kind of wrapped up everything is like basically corrupted, so I can't use it. It's been a little while since I finished it, so I obviously don't have like the same hype of when I first finished the book. Obviously I need to wrap up and finish talking to you guys about all my thoughts. So I'll start with my final thoughts on Kingdom of Ash. Unfortunately I can't remember everything I said in the final clip, but I really loved it. That was just like my overarching thought. I rated it a 5-star, which I feel like isn't surprising. I think it has surpassed Assassin's Blade as my favourite. The deaths that I knew were coming, it did happen. I will say that both of them, I don't know if it's just because I knew it was happening, but both of them didn't hit me that hard. I feel like in a way, both of them I was kind of disconnected from, also because obviously with Gabriel, he didn't really need to do that. It was like, why are you doing that? More than like upset. Obviously I was still a bit sad. And then Asterin and the 13, I feel like just the nature of that death was very like distant, like it didn't happen right with Manon, like they went and did that. So in that sense I didn't feel too connected to it, but that was such a like powerful way for them to go out, so I really loved that. I'm just so sad for Manon because she just kind of has no one, and also the ending is so open-ended with her and Dorian, and like they're not together. So I don't think Sarah J Maas will ever do any more books, but I would just love to know what her plan was, or like what she envisioned for Manon and Dorian, because they didn't really get the ending that you normally would get in a romance, but it does make sense for them. I obviously kind of thought what would happen did happen with like Erewhon and Maeve. I presumed that they would heal Erewhon. Obviously that happened. That whole scene it was definitely tense, but it was also like, I do find this with Sarah J Maas books in a way actually. Like it seems too easy for the main characters sometimes, and in that scenario it definitely felt that way because like Aelin was just talking out her, I don't know if I can say that. But anyway, she was waffling. She was just waffling, and she managed to convince them like not to kill her, which is obviously a very good tactic and like a very realistic, like human tactic. I would have liked more of a moment with Lysandra and Falcon. Is that his name? Yeah, I would have liked more of a moment with them. I also would have liked to see Nox. Like Nox just, I mean, he wasn't an important character, but he kind of became like kind of vital to that like whole war scenario and then just disappeared. Oh, I remember one thing. I don't know if I said this before. I don't think I did. The death that actually got to me the most, and I see no one talking about this one, is, I've forgotten his name, but Ren's granddad. That one really like made me sad because he's like an old man. I think I'm a bit sensitive at the moment to that kind of thing, but he's just an old man. Like he literally, I don't think he had any powers, and he was like, I'm just gonna have to, like, I have to go and fight. Like I don't have a choice now. I'm gonna go do it. I know I'm probably not gonna make it. Like it just honestly it made me so sad. And they did it. Like they did die, but he did like save that part of the like wall or whatever they were protecting. So that was honestly the death that got to me the most, because I'm just imagining this like old man doing that, and it was just so sweet. And obviously Ren was so sad. I really liked how Sarah J Maas included Ren in these books, because obviously he's not very important to the storyline, but I feel like in this book especially he had more emotional moments. Obviously he's the one that's like comforting Lysandra throughout the book, with the whole Adian thing, and then he has these moments with his granddad and with like Adian, Elide, and Aelin as well, because obviously they're all from Terrasen. But yeah, 5 stars. I obviously gave Empire of Storm 5 stars as well. But yeah, I think my ranking is Kingdom of Ash, Assassin's Blade, Empire of Storm, Queen of Shadow, Throne of Glass, Crown of Midnight, Tower of Dawn, Heir of Fire. I think I named all of them. Obviously, just really enjoyed the series, and I definitely understand why everyone says it's so much better than ACOTAR, because I think I was saying in one of the clips during this video, I don't feel connected to the series in the same way as I do to ACOTAR. And now I'm like, I don't even feel connected to ACOTAR anymore. I'm like, I am in Throne of Glass. Like, that's the one I'm connected to. And I can't even explain it because I can't like pinpoint someone that I'm really connected to. It's just like the whole story as a whole. I think I did say this one does feel more human in a way because there's still humans involved. I know there is humans in ACOTAR, but it's not really the same. Like most of the time in ACOTAR, you're just in the Fae realms, whereas in Throne of Glass, I feel like, is it all mortal land? I don't know, but obviously there's humans around. Like Hale's a human, Dora's a human. I know they have magic, but yeah, and like the whole war aspect is a bit more human. I kind of like that a bit more, but I still do love ACOTAR, and I do need to reread Akamath because that's my favourite of all of them. I feel like that's all I got to say. If you haven't read Throne of Glass yet, definitely read it. I also felt like Kingdom of Ash did not feel like 900 pages. I flew through it. So if that's what puts you off, don't let it put you off. You'll probably just get really into it and you won't even notice that you've read 900 pages. I hope you enjoyed these videos. I hope this might have inspired you to read Throne of Glass yourself. And I'd love to hear any of your thoughts if you have read it, because not many of my friends have actually read Throne of Glass. So I would love to hear your thoughts. And thank you for watching.